Hello, everyone, and welcome to Second Life. Now, you may have heard of or be familiar with one or more of the terms that describe what I am. I am an avatar, a virtual presence and alternative representation, or to my colleagues and many of my students, Bryan mnemonic. I exist within this virtual environment where I represent my alter ego, Dr. Bryan Carter. Here is where we interact with students and colleagues from around the world. If you're unfamiliar with virtual environments, I might suggest that you read two landmark novels, Neuromancer by William Gibson and Snow Crash by Neil Stephenson, both of which will help you begin your trek towards immersion. Now, my alt, Dr. Bryan Carter, is an associate professor at the University of Central Missouri, where he teaches African American and American literature, cyberculture, and composition. Now, for those of you not familiar with my world, let me tell you just a little bit about it. Second Life is currently populated by over 12 to 14 million residents from around the world, and the environment, created and maintained by Linden Lab, is housed on literally thousands of networked computers. Now, although this may appear to be a gaming environment, it is in actuality so much more than that. Games do take place here, but there are also wonderful examples of museums and art galleries, role-playing and educational in systems, business, entertainment, politics, and religion, and a very lively economic system. We began using virtual environments in 1997 with the launch of the first version of Virtual Harlem, an environment consisting of approximately 10 square blocks of Harlem, New York, as it existed during the Harlem Renaissance, circa 1920s. I was resed, or born in real-world terminology, in 2005, and we are currently standing in an evolved version of the Virtual Harlem project, now consisting of three islands: Virtual Harlem 1, the first to be constructed here in Second Life, funded by the National Black Programming Consortia; Harlem 2, an expansion of the original SIM; and Virtual Montmartre, because of course it's impossible to discuss the Harlem Renaissance or even the Jazz Age without also including some discussion of Montmartre, which is the 18th arrondissement in Paris, where jazz was introduced just after World War I by black U.S. troops who fought under the French flag because they weren't allowed to fight or do so under the American flag. The Virtual Harlem Project was created to help my students connect with the time period we study in a more visual and tactile manner, encouraging a different understanding of the literature. The differentiated learning that occurs in a course taught here is experienced on a consistent basis. But Virtual Harlem is so much more than an educational environment. It is first and foremost a community made up of residents of, of Second Life interested in this historic period. Business owners, musicians, artists, educators, and students interacting with one another and the environment, helping to create a lively, engaging, interactive community where lifelong learning can take place in sometimes unexpected locations. Now, on Virtual Harlem, you may encounter an artist displaying her work, a jazz set at the Cotton Club or the Savoy Ballroom, a poetry reading at the Apollo Theater right behind me, or a showing of the very first all-black production of Macbeth at the Lafayette Theater, a book talk at the Harlem Branch Library, students studying from France interacting with those from the U.S., Norway, or Sweden, or a class on African American or even Caribbean literature. Now, almost anything is possible here on Virtual Harlem, and I encourage you to immerse yourself and visit my world. send me an offer for friendship, and I'll be more than happy to show you around. I look forward to seeing you here on Virtual Harlem. Take care.